Hi guys, this is Brad Lincoln from Pathway to Oz, and today we're going to do a bit of a deep dive into one of our most popular programs, and that is the Carpentry Course. Okay, so as you've seen, we do a number of videos promoting the different courses and programs, and you've probably heard me bang on a lot about how popular and how in demand trade and construction programs are. Now, the Carpentry program is probably the most popular construction course that we offer to our international applicants for a number of reasons. In terms of affordability, it's pretty much bang average with the type of costs you would expect from a trade program, being that that's about, $10,000 to $12,000 per year, depending on where you want to study. Another big benefit of this program is the locations where it's available. So there's a number of regional locations you can study carpentry. So we've got regional New South Wales, we've got the Gold Coast, we've got the Sunshine Coast, Perth, Adelaide, all those very popular regional areas for students who want to undertake study in those locations. And carpentry is available in all of them, as well as it's available in all the major capital cities. So Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, you have a number of options in each of these locations to study the Carpentry course. Okay, so today I just want to give you a bit of an idea of the program itself, how it works, and even the potential for future visas at the end of your studies. So let's get right into it. So you will see that most of the schools have a Certificate 3 in Carpentry, but some of the schools, and this is mainly in Melbourne, Victoria, for some unknown reason, that they do them as a package course. Okay, so you'll see the Cert 3 in Carpentry, plus maybe a Cert 4 in Building and Construction or a Diploma in Building and Construction. Okay, so the main difference between this that I find is that they've got their Carpentry course registered for a year. They then attach a building and construction program onto the end of this, basically to flesh that program out. So you have a 2-year duration of study, so you're eligible to apply for the graduate visa. Now, this is just my opinion. I think you are much better off attending a college or a school that is delivering the Cert 3 in Carpentry standalone over the 2-year period, because that is the trade qualification. The Cert 4 in Building Construction is very much, or a Diploma of Building Construction is very much a theory-based program. Okay, if you're looking to study the trade, and it's not about theory. You need to be on the tools. You need to be working in that environment. Okay, so doing the standalone trade over only 1 year, just in my opinion, I don't think it's long enough to feel confident and comfortable within that sector. Because at the end of the day, once you finish your program, and if you're looking to sort of generate the migration pathway, you need to go work in this industry for at least 1 year full time to be able to obtain that full skills assessment. Okay, now if you've only done 1 year of study and then come out and need to be confident on the tools, I just feel that sometimes people who are coming into this industry very green by going into one of those type of programs maybe setting themselves up to fail. And it's extremely important as well. The course is one thing, but working in the industry while doing your study, guys, I can't stress how important this is. It is so vital for you to be confident once completing your studies. I just think if when you're exploring these programs and when you're looking at it, if you're trying to weigh up the options between doing just the Cert 3 over 2 years or the Cert 3 in Diploma, honestly, I 100% recommend going for the standalone Cert 3 over the 2 years to give you that self more time to really properly learn that trade. Okay, so what do you cover in this course? Okay, so generally with these type of courses, you're in school anywhere from 2 to 3 days per week, depending on the module that you're doing at the time. Now, of course, some modules in this program are more intensive than others. So, for example, if you're learning to read plans and do up diagnostics of the job and that sort of thing, it might not be that intensive, and you could do a bit of it from home. So you might only be in class for 2 days per week. You know what I mean? But when you're doing, say, learning to build actual structures, like you're doing the roofing module or you're building a staircase, it might be a bit more intensive and you might need a bit more time in class. So it might stretch out to 3 days per week in class while doing that module. Now, a module could take 1 class session, it could take 2 months, depending on the module. Okay, so as I said, modules are very different. The way you learn is very different, but the main focus is that they're not hugely theory-based programs. Okay, when you're doing these courses, guys, you're in a sort of a factory style setup, but in these factory style setups, you're building whole homes, okay? So, I mean, some of the facilities, and we've got videos where we've gone and toured the TAFE Queensland carpentry facility. Have a look at that and you will see how big and dedicated these facilities are to learning the trade, okay? So you're getting taught by industry leaders. I mean, the guys who are teaching you, they've been carpenters for 10, 15 years. So you're really learning from the best. You're learning all the tricks and tips you need to be successful within the industry. And you mean, if you're gonna study something, you've got to study something that you know you are gonna get that outcome you want. Okay, so, and by studying carpentry here in Australia, we have some of the best facilities for this program, and just a really, really good option if you're trying to get into the trade and construction sector. Okay, now in terms of job prospects, things like that, what's going to happen in the future? Now, guys, this is an industry that is just growing every single day. The government is investing huge amounts of money into the trade and construction sector and into the state governments because they feel that there is a real housing shortage here in Australia. So what that means is basically anyone who is studying these courses now and over the next couple of years are going to have a huge amount of opportunity for work, huge amount of opportunity to make some really good money, and not only that, but a pathway to being able to stay in Australia permanently once you finish your studies. Okay, so if you follow our channel, you would know how the Job Ready program works and all that sort of stuff. But if you don't, to give you a very quick, brief overview, essentially you would study in Australia for 2 years, okay, and using carpentry as the example, you study that course for 2 years, you're then eligible to apply for the graduate visa. Okay, this visa gives you an additional 18 months in the country with no restrictions on your work rights or anything like that. And what you need to do is build up at least 1 year of full-time work within the sector you studied, okay? Now, once you've done that, you can then apply for your full skills assessment. And basically, once you've got that, that's the golden ticket you need to apply for a more permanent visa in Australia, okay? So this course provides you with a very solid and clear pathway to being able to stay in Australia long term, if that's what you're wanting to do. And guys, as I said, one of the things with the construction sector is it's absolutely booming. And one thing I always say when I'm talking to potential clients is you want to get a return on the investment for your study, okay? So, no beating around the bush. At the end of the day, by the time you've done all your study and your visas and that type of thing, you're probably going to come close to spending about $35,000, right? Now, that's a big chunk of change for anyone, okay? So when looking at these type of courses, if you were, say, for example, looking at studying to be a chef, okay? At the end of the day, once you finish your qualification, if you want to own your own business, you're going to need to make a very big investment in that. Like a restaurant, it might cost you $200,000 to set up the kitchen. You've got rent, you've got overheads, you've got staff, all these sorts of things. If you're a carpenter, okay, what do you need? A car to get your tools around, a mobile phone, and your tools. Once you've got that, you can essentially set up your own business, and your earning potential is absolutely limitless. So this is something I always say to students who are looking and not sure what they want to study or what direction they want to go in. Look at something that's going to get you a return on the investment you're putting into study in the quickest way possible, because at the end of the day, you need to work, you need to make money, and you want to get the money back for the money you paid for study in Australia. So guys, I hope this gives you a really good understanding of the carpentry program and gives you a bit more of a rundown on how it works and the cost involved and all that sort of thing and the potential that it can bring. And if you do want to explore this course or any other course that's available to you in Australia, please never hesitate to contact the team at Pathway to Oz. Thanks.